If you're Canadian or American and you're looking at buying property in Puerto Vallarta, Mexico, this video is going to walk you through the exact process step by step, including the trust foreigners use to buy legally, how people actually finance properties down here, and how to avoid the biggest mistakes I see buyers make. I'm Tristen Gosselin and I help Americans and Canadians buy property here in PV, so I'll keep this practical and simple. For those of you that have seen this channel before, you know that most of my videos are property tours, but I wanted to change it up a little bit for this video because I was once in your guys' shoes. I live here full-time now in PV, but I was originally from Vancouver, Canada, and I wanted to buy property here, but had no one to guide me through it. So hopefully I can be the guide for you guys. The first question I always get asked is, can foreigners buy in Mexico? And the answer is yes, you absolutely can. The only thing you need to know is that within 50 kilometers of the shore, you don't actually own the title in your name. What you do is you open up a bank trust in your name, you're the beneficiary of that trust, and then the deed to the house goes in there. And that's the standard legal process in which all foreigners, including myself, own real estate here. You still get full control of the unit, you can live in it, you can rent it out, you can make money from it, you can do renovations, and you can sell it anytime you like. There's a setup fee and then a yearly maintenance fee, which will usually work out to a few $100s depending on your bank. Now, the second question I get asked is, can you get financing down here? And the best option will depend person to person. The first option is getting a Mexican mortgage. However, for the majority of people, I don't recommend it because the rates are going to be in the double digits. You're going to be paying either 10, 11, 12%. And that usually doesn't work out for most people. So people's options are usually either to buy all cash or, depending on your situation back home, if you own your home outright or if you have a small business, you can either take out a home equity line of credit or you can do a small business loan. But essentially, you would have to find the capital from where you're from and then bring a full cash offer down here. The other thing to keep in mind is closing costs. As the buyer, you don't have to worry about any agent fees as those are paid out from the seller, so it's very important and there's no downside to having good representation. In this area, the closing cost for the buyer is typically around 5% depending on the deal. This includes property transfer tax, setting up the trust that we just talked about, and notary fees. There's two expenses not included in those closing costs. One, you'll have to pay for a home inspection, which will usually be about $200 US. And then two, setting up the escrow account, which will typically be around $700 US. The third thing to know is that the regulations of real estate are a lot less strict here in Mexico than they are in Canada and America. So that means the quality of agent varies a lot. Even though there is an official certification from an organization called AMPI, not every agent will choose to get AMPI certified. This also means they don't get access to the Flex MLS account, which has all the latest prices, all the latest listings, and all the actual official data on the market. So make sure you work with an agent that is AMPI certified. And a little inside scoop is that's part of the reason that I decided to become a real estate agent down here is when I was looking to buy, there was a huge gap in the type of realtor that I was looking for. The urgency and level of service that we've come to expect in Canada and the United States is just on another level than it is here in PV, especially when making a very big purchase like this. So I've done everything I can to make the buying process as easy as possible. Aside from the few things to note that we talked about before, the only thing you got to worry about is working together with me to find the best property for you. I work with an independent closing attorney / notary team that handles all the legal side, from setting up the trust to submitting offers to setting up the home inspection. They handle all of that. The only thing you got to worry about is showing up to the closing date to pick up your keys and sign over the deed. If you're thinking about buying in Puerto Vallarta in the next 6 to 18 months, message me on WhatsApp and we can schedule a quick discovery call. Now that you know the important details to think about while buying down here, here's a quick recap of the entire buying process. First, we'll do the discovery call. That's where you can ask me anything you need to know, and I can ask you about what you're looking for. Second, we will set up a short list and then maybe even some property tours if you have a trip booked down, or if you want, I can do Zoom property tours as well. Third, we get into the offers and negotiations. Fourth is we do all the due diligence. So we'll do the home inspection, we'll look into the HOA docs. Again, nothing that you need to worry about. We'll do that all on our side. Fifth is the escrow account. So we'll set that up and we'll submit 10% of the purchase price into the escrow account. Sixth is we will get to work on opening up your trust. And seventh is the closing date. And to give you a quick time frame on all of that, if you go from accepted offer to closing date, that's typically between 45 to 60 days, depending on the deal and what works for everybody. But it will never be quicker than 45 days because that's usually about how long it takes to set up all the accounts and have the notaries do their jobs and get all the paperwork in line. Now, the biggest mistakes that I see buyers make: sending money without proper escrow account, using an unqualified agent who doesn't have access to Flex MLS, and skipping due diligence and looking into building HOAs, rules, and legal statuses. That's it for this video. If you guys like this video, please let me know in the comments and I can do more videos like this. If you want to see some property tours, please make sure you subscribe so you can see the next ones that come out. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next one.